Buai laju-laju sampai pokok senang. Apa dalam pasu sekuntum bunga raya. Terbang laju-laju tinggi ke angkasa. Siapa paling laju? Didi, Jojo, Nana. Laju, 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 la la la. Laju, laju, laju seronoknya. Laju, 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 la la la. Terbang ke angkasa. Tengok tu. Bintang lah. Hai bintang.
Hai semua.
Terbang laju-laju tinggi di angkasa.
Salam sejahtera and a very good day to our lecturer, Sir Muhammad Nabil Fikri. My name is Naomi Freda Anak Ken,
My name is Jacqueline.
and today we will be discussing on the topic of implementation of quality management system in the construction industry. So before we begin, I will be explaining a little bit on the flow of our podcast for today. It will be divided into two parts. For the first part, it will be hosted by me and Jacqueline, and for the second part, it will be hosted by Norliana and Nurul Azri. So we have with us here our special guest, Encik Azman. So before we start, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Salman. Currently working as a senior QDC engineer at Sarawak Energy Berhad. Then basically my experience for this QDC engineer is more or less than 10 years lah. Then I graduated from UiTM Samarahan in civil engineering. After that, I continue my study in construction management in degree in construction management at Shah Alam. That's briefly about me lah.
Okay. So now we will begin with our podcast.
The first thing that we gonna ask Encik Azman regarding with the construction industry, what is the role QA/QC engineer?
Basically, if you ask me, the role of QA/QC engineer is a bit wide. There's a few things lah you need to know what is quality itself. Some of people might say that quality itself is a product itself, but then for me, quality itself is from A to Z, from your design up to the end of the product itself, including your organization itself, company itself, and your team members lah. If you refer to what is quality itself in terms of the ISO 9001, they're going to say customer satisfaction. They want also cover everything regarding on your services. So what is the role of QA/QC itself for me? When I first my first career development last time is I joined the contractor. So what did I do is last time that I tried my best to make sure that whatever the things that happen inside itself is according to the plan, according to the quality plan lah, and then according to the highest standard of quality itself. And then if you see at the point of view as a supplier, the thing is might be a bit crucial lah, because one of the things that I learned from my past experience as a supplier last time, the thing that we need to make sure is not only our product quality itself, we need to make sure that our delivery of the services itself is in a good term lah, so that our customer will satisfy with whatever that we give to them. And then as now I'm working as a quality engineer at ACB, so that one is more or less is as a client itself. So what the thing that I need to make sure is I need to make sure whatever the contractor do at the site, whatever the parties do at the site, they need to make sure the quality in the top highest level. So toward the end of the day, when we passing this project to the asset owner later on, is going to give them a best quality lah.
Okay, I see. What if the contractor doesn't follow with the QA/QC engineer instruction?
Me as a client or how? As a client lah. Okay. If let's say the contractor itself is not following the KPC, there's a few things that we're going to give them lah. The first thing is what we do is paperwork. We're going to give them the site memo, ask them to tell them what the thing they're doing wrong, and then most probably if let's say there's a solution from us, then we're going to give them solution. But then if there is no solution, then we're going to bring this problem to the meeting lah. Then maybe we have to brainstorm together with the consultant itself. So my as well consultant will suggest whatever solution that can be done.
Okay, next, how long have you been in this industry?
Construction itself, I think since 2016, more or less is 7 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years.
8 years.
Okay. The question number 3 is, can Encik Azman briefly explain the role, daily routine as a QC engineer?
Okay. If let's say from my past experience, based on as a contractor itself, the thing that I need to do is first thing in the morning lah. I think what I do last time is I need to check all the drawing itself, and then I need to check all the progress at the site, and then I need to check the quality at the site itself. Then mostly what I do is daily on morning time, I just go around, just wanted to see what is already done, what is not done, and then what is the defect, what is the thing that not in the good term. Then I'm going to highlight to my co-workers lah, or I'm going to highlight with the workers itself. But then as a supplier itself, what did I do is I go around the factory, then I see what are the things, same thing also, same routine, just that when you are in the factory, it's not as what you in the construction site itself. Construction, there's a variety of drawing itself. But then when you are in manufacturing as a supplier, kinda all the drawing is repetition lah. So think you already know what is the drawing itself. So I'm rarely go through the drawing unless there is no drawing lah. Then what I do is I just go around in the morning, then plan what are the things that need to be planned. Brief my co-workers, brief my subordinate, what are the things need to be done, what are the things that need to be focused. Then toward the end of the day, I just see what is the end product itself. If let's say this thing happen toward the end of the day, the end product is not so good, then we try to brainstorm lah, what are the things that we need to do for the future. If let's say because of the workmanship itself, because of the worker skill, because of the worker's mistake, then we're going to ask him to do better. Maybe we can suggest them to go for training lah.
So, Encik Azman, can you explain briefly on what is exactly the quality management system?
Yeah, talking about the quality management system, that one is QMS, isn't it? QMS, they call it QMS now. If you're referring to ISO 9001 itself, as what I mentioned before, QMS is referring to standard ISO 9001. There's a newest version is 2015. What I can say about that one is mostly they focus on customer satisfaction itself. That is what QMS lah. QMS is a system, kind of the system that you need to implement inside your company in order to get the good quality at the end of the day. That is QMS itself lah. There's a system itself need to be developed by a company in order for them to make activities run smoothly lah. That was QMS. I think if you wanted to refer, maybe you can refer to ISO 9001. That one is mainly focused on QMS itself.
Okay. Based on Encik Azman experience, what is the issue commonly that faced by the company or any agency regarding implementing the quality management system?
The issue.
Yes, the issue commonly.
Common issue. This one is a bit tricky question. So, I guess what I can say is the issue that in order for me to implement the quality,
that faced by the company.
The company or the employer itself? Company lah. I'm not going to say company itself. I'm going to say the employee inside the company itself. The thing that they're going to face is, in order for them to implement, of course, human. Yep. So most of the time, I think people going to zoom in on the production progress, I think, but then rarely them focus on the quality itself. So that one is the most important part, I think lah, because throughout this my career years, the thing that holding me on is human itself. Some of human, they cannot accept whatever your suggestion is, and then some of the human itself is a bit ego. So they say there's have experience, they know what they do, they know better. I think that's a human mostly is human lah, I think. That is, if you talk about management itself, yes, if let's say your superior doesn't have quality thought inside the brand itself lah. For me, if let's say your boss is okay with it, then of course your boss will support you. But then if your boss is not okay with it, then you have to follow your boss' instruction lah. Toward the end of the day is you are under your boss. That's why most of the time, if you see a company, QC itself is not parked under any department. They have their own department directly reporting to the different boss. So consider it's I think can consider it's third party inside the company itself lah. So if you say the QC itself parked under production team, then it's not going to work because of the support from the human, your management and others lah.
Okay. So thank you, Encik Azman, for your sharing session on the first part. So that is the end for our first part, and the next part will be hosted by Norliana and Nurul Azrin. We will be back after the break.
Welcome back to our podcast. But first, let us introduce ourselves. I am Nurul Azrin and
I am Norliana.
so we are going to continue with our discussion with Encik Azman. So my question is, how do we assess the performance of the quality management system as a QA/QC engineer?
How to assess the performance of the QMS itself? So basically, toward 1 year progress, what we usually do is base audit, internal and also external audit for the ISO itself. The internal one is carried out within our own company. We're going to appoint a few of the audit teams and also the audit leader itself. Then we're going to audit whatever that we find out is not according to our QMS manual. Then we're going to discuss it, or we're going to bring it into the management review. Every year we have one management review, we have to audit. And then after that also there's one session with the external auditor, whereby the external parties will come to the company, will carry out the audit, and then they're going to evaluate whatever the thing that we do is right or wrong lah. And then for your information also, according to ISO 9001:2015, there's a new requirement that did mention about risk assessment. That also how we're going to evaluate the performance of our QMS itself lah. We're going to come up with the risk. Every department, each department they have their own risk, and then from that risk also we're going to come up with the solution. Either is high risk, high risk, low risk or medium risk, and then we're going to come up with solution. Either it can be eliminated, preventive, or can be reduced. And then that is how we're going to assess the performance of the QMS itself lah. If let's say the performance of our QMS itself is not okay, based on our data from the risk itself, based on the data that we came out from the audit, external, internal, and also management review itself, then we're going to change something lah, in order to make sure your QMS is in a good term.
So, in the context of construction projects, how do you ensure that the quality is maintained during each phase, from designing to construction and commissioning?
Maintaining the quality
Yeah.
toward the certain stages.
Yes.
So tricky question. Okay. Basically, currently what we do is now, my current job, we have a few gaps. We call it as CMS, Complete Management System. CMS, Complete Management System. Inside the CMS itself, there's a few stages from the FAT gate itself, from the MC walk down itself, and then toward the end of the day is commissioning itself. So we control each gate to make sure that quality is at the top performance lah. For example, before we can go for the FAT, then we're going to review the design itself first. So there is a few departments going to review the design itself. Then they're going to evaluate either the design is okay or not. If not okay, then they're going to redo again, then come up with solution, everything, then come up with the design. Once the design is ready itself, then we can go for FAT. FAT is a factory audit test, whereby the product itself going to go for FAT. We're going to go there, see the product is in the good condition, okay, according to drawing spec, everything. Then if pass, then we're going to bring the product to the site itself. Then site, after the installation, after the construction, everything complete, everything, then we're going to have a second gate, which is MC walk down. MC walk down is mechanical completion declaration, whereby we're going to bring all the parties, see what are the defects that at the site itself, try to rectify the defect itself. After everything done, everything okay, then we go for the commissioning, whereby before we hand over the project itself to the asset owner or to the client itself. That's how we control the quality at site. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that answers our question. Okay, so talking about assessment, do you mind sharing about classy? Since it is related to assessing the quality of the building construction works.
Classic, Q-classic,
Yes,
I mean.
Q-classic.
Q-classic, okay. A lot of people, when they come to Q-classic, think they're a bit, how to say, confused. Q-classic is not spec, it's not a requirement. Q-classic is a certificate that produced by the CIDB itself, with the Q-classic assessor came to your site. That one is after the end of the project itself lah. After project done, everything done, after Aki work done, M&E work done, everything, finish everything, 100% done, then the CIDB assessor will come, and then they're going to assess your quality based on visual, based on small equipment itself. They're going to focus on, I think, 3 areas if not mistaken. The first area itself is Aki work. Second area is M&E itself. The third area is external itself. You can go to the CIS7. That is the standard they go lah. Q-classic itself is certificate that produced by the CIDB itself to give the mark for your project. But then there's a standard they refer to CIS7. The CIS7 they got three version. I think that one you can download for free lah. 2006. Version 2014, the latest one 2021. So inside itself, if you go to the closest 1.4, the usage of this quality assessment system, they clearly mentioned that this Q-classic is not meant to be used as a spec or requirement for the project, unless if agreed by the parties, then going to be bind inside the contract. That is a 1.4 lah. Maybe you can, that one can be downloaded. You can go through all the clauses itself. and then they're referring to the UUBL 1984, and then at the same time also they're referring to Act 520. Okay, what is Act 520 I forgot the year, but then there's the latest edition is October 2015.
Oh, so the QLASIC is not compulsory for every project?
No, that one is depending on the contractor itself. Either they wanted to evaluate the project.
Why do they want to evaluate the project using QLASIC?
First thing first, because if you study, okay, you get the degree, cert, everything, isn't it? So why you go for the cert itself? Because you wanted to make sure people surrounding you know what is your quality, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what I learned last time when you do something without paperwork, your work is not done. So what they do is they construct everything, they get the certificate, they certified with the certain percentage, they can show that to the client, this is my past project. So this is the quality that I have for the previous project one. So I can make sure whatever my workmanship toward the end of the day is this mark or maybe higher.
So before ending this session, do you mind sharing your experience throughout the years of working in this industry? Since we're still students, do you have any advice before we start working in this industry?
Okay, before I give you any advice, I wanted to clarify something. My advice may not work for anyone because some of us, we have different situation, we have different condition, we have different skill itself, and then we have our own path, right? So for me, the thing that I can advise to you guys is, I think as a Muslim itself if you are not Muslim also can, then prayer, take care of your prayer itself, and then second thing, respect your parents. Whatever you do, whatever decision you wanted to do, get the blessing from your parents itself. Try to discuss with them. When I talk about the parents itself, it's not asking them for a decision. Just let them know what is your decision. Don't try to get anyone influence your decision. Try to discuss what is your decision, why you do this decision itself. And then the third thing is your family. The fourth thing, of course, your friend. Try to build as much as network now, since you guys still study. So you might not going to know, maybe you become the boss, or you become the boss. Then you can get a job from her, you can get a job from her. There's a few things lah. And then a few things I'm going to say is, as much as I had to say this, but then this is the fact itself. When you're working, try to be loyal with the money. Because toward the end of the month, the thing that's going to motivate yourself to do your job better is the money itself. If let's say you found out the company is not doing the right thing to you, the environment is toxic, the coworker is toxic, the pay also is not as good as what you thought, then try to find another job lah. Don't be inside the comfort zone itself. That's the few things I'm going to say lah. And then I think I had to say this also. I think maybe most of the lecture out there, you're going to show this to the lecture, isn't it?
Yes.
I think most of the people out there, they're going to say this. I think they agree with me. Try to enjoy as much as you can while you study, because when you work later on, you don't going to have any time to study and to do fun thing, everything. And then I think my advice is respect your lecturer. And then your job later on, how to say, just do whatever you can.
Respect your lecturer.
Yeah. Yeah. And then your when you're working later on, it's not as what you expected. Most of the time, it's not as what is expected. You're going to miss your study.
Okay, we have come to an end for this podcast session. Thank you so much to Cik Azman for coming and joining us for this podcast, even though it was so last minute. And thank you so much for spending your time. And that is all from us. Thank you. Bye.
Ikut, oh, nanti ajak